So this is a great deal I heard about from another YouTuber. This is 10 pounds of chicken legs that were purchased at the Walmart store recently near me for $6.72. And that is a lot of chicken for a small amount of money. So since times are getting a little tough for people, I thought I would challenge myself into making 7 distinct meals from this 10 pounds of chicken, and each meal would need to serve at least 4 people. So what I decided I'm going to make is chicken and dumplings, chicken curry with rice, chicken vegetable soup, white chicken chili, chicken parmesan pasta, chicken pot pie, and buffalo chicken rice casserole. So stay with me and we'll get to cooking. All right, let's get some delicious buffalo chicken pasta made here. So you're gonna get about 3 cups of water in a pan and put in your chicken thigh, and just make sure that it's cooked all the way through to the point it's so soft it's falling off the bone. You want to be able to have it shred very easily. And definitely remove all of the chicken. Just make sure as you're clearing it off that there's no blobs of fat or gristle or bones, anything in the shredded chicken that you aren't going to want to have in your pasta dish. As soon as you get that done, you're going to melt 2 tablespoons of butter and add 1 stick of celery finely diced and a ½ cup of onion also finely diced, and give it a good stir and cook it until it's translucent and nice and soft. While that's cooking, you can very finely mince 3 large cloves of garlic, and don't be afraid to use the large cloves. It is very delicious in this dish, and this is a very spicy dish anyway, so it can tolerate 3 large cloves of garlic. And give it a good cook just to make sure that the garlic is nice and soft, but you don't want to cook it so long that the garlic becomes bitter. Just a couple of minutes should be enough to make it just about right. Open up a can, a 14.5 ounce can of diced tomatoes. Don't drain it. You want everything to go into the sauce. So go ahead and pour that into the pan and stir it and cook it. You're going to want to put the pan a little bit higher. You're going to have that boiling, and that's very important because in a few minutes you're going to be adding some broth and bring that to a boiling also. Now if you cooked that chicken in some water, have part of that broth be the cooking water, and then add whatever else you want to make it 4 cups, whether it's canned broth or broth from one of those little cartons, or you make your own, it's homemade, doesn't matter. Just make sure that it's 4 cups of a nicely flavored chicken broth or chicken stock or even bone broth. I'm increasing the temperature on that so that it will come to a boil. You definitely want to that boiling, so go ahead, put the lid on for a few minutes and make sure that heat is up high enough so it does come to a good boil. That's very important, as at this point you're going to be adding your pasta and cooking it right there in the pan. So I'm using a 1 pound box, and I'm not going to use all of it. I'm just using about 12 ounces. That is a 1 pound box. And again, make sure that what you're using is a 1 pound box or it's a 12 ounce box. You're going to use the entirety of a 12 ounce box or just most of a 16 ounce box. If you do use all of the 16 ounce box, you could end up with a little less saucy nature to your pasta. It'll be fine, but it just a little bit less sauce. So go ahead and get that pasta cooked in the tomato and broth mixture. And I did turn the temperature down a little bit so it would simmer as opposed to boil. And at this point, it's looking pretty good. The pasta is almost fully cooked, and I'm going to be adding some other things. So 8-ounce block of cream cheese is next, and I cut that into 1-inch square pieces so that it would melt better. It actually would melt better with these even smaller pieces. It took a little bit of doing to get the cream cheese to fully melt, but you can do it. And stir that in and get that started with the melting. The other cheeses you are going to be using are 1.5 cups of cheddar and 1 cup of mozzarella, and I chose to go ahead and shred these myself from a larger block of cheese. I have found that if I shred it myself, it melts a lot better than if I use cheese that has come pre-shredded out of the bag, and that's because the pre-shredded cheese in the bag has some anti-caking ingredients in it, cellulose specifically. I'm not quite sure what that is, but it does make it so that the cheese does not melt as readily as when you just shred it yourself off of the block of cheese. But either way, you can use either one. They will both work, and the dish will turn out delicious. But again, that's my preference, to just use the cheese that I shred myself. It just makes it a little creamier. So you're going to be stirring for a little while to make sure everything melts in there. You can use any kind of pasta. Here you can see that I use some rigatoni, but you can use ziti. You can use farfalle. There's a number of different shapes that will hold up well. I would not use a pasta like a fettuccine or a spaghetti. That would probably not hold up well to the amount of stirring that you need to do. You just need to be kind of careful and stir gently, not vigorously. You really just want to make sure that your cheese is melting. And the biggest challenge is getting that cream cheese to melt, because it is so much bigger and was not shredded. So that's what you want to do. I'm going to be adding that shredded chicken now, and to that chicken I have added 1/2 cup of blue cheese dressing. You could add ranch dressing if you wanted to. That would also be fine, but in this particular instance I am using blue cheese. I did forget to mention that step of mixing the two together, but that is your shredded chicken, and it's got the 1/2 cup of blue cheese dressing in it. So again, stir that addition in, but do it very carefully so that you're not tearing up your pasta. You want that pasta to be nice and whole. I'm going to put the top on it now and just let it simmer for a few to get that last bit of cheese and cream cheese in there melted. And at this point, we've got pretty well melted. You can see that cream cheese there's no more chunks left in it, so we're good to go to the next step. Now this is buffalo sauce, and you can use whatever brand that you want. And again, depending on how hot you want it, just choose the brand that you like, and that will be fine. This is a fairly medium heat buffalo sauce, and that is 1/2 cup of the buffalo sauce that I just added. And give it a good stir, making sure that it gets mixed all the way through your pasta. Yeah, I've still got a few pieces of cream cheese in there that are being stubborn, so we're gonna Let them melt for a few minutes more here on a low heat. And oh, I forgot to show you, this is the brand of blue cheese dressing that I used. Easy to find. I always liked it. It's very delicious. So just to show you what it is that I use, since I did skip that step. So it's pretty well heated through. Give it a good stir. It looks like the rest of the cream cheese has finally melted. Yep, no more cream cheese left. We're good. I've got that heat turned way down now so that it really doesn't cook anymore. It doesn't need to. The cheese is all nicely melted. Time to give it a taste. Tastes pretty good. So at this point, I'm going to be serving it up. There is one other thing that you could use if you wanted a little bit more spice. I'm not going to do that because I'm a little bit of a wimp when it comes to spicy food, but you can use however much you want of like a red pepper flakes. I wouldn't add any more of a buffalo sauce because that would kind of change the whole taste of the dish. But again, you can use the crushed red pepper if you want to, and that would be just fine. Or if some people in your family like it hotter than others, maybe they just sprinkle a bit on their own serving. But this is the dish and we are ready to serve it up. Looks delicious. And it is delicious. Very, very nice flavor. It's got a little bit of a bite from the buffalo sauce, but not bad. I think your family will like it. And again, if you want it spicier yourself, you can add some pepper flakes to your dish or to the entire dish. Thank you.